did history for some reason speed up in 1963?
Well, yeah, I think when we think about 1964, especially now, over the next several years, we've been celebrating and commemorating these 50-year anniversaries, is that 1964 is based on hundreds of years of struggle. It's not a top-down movement. It's not top-down leadership. This is Ella Baker. This is Stokely Carmichael. This is Fannie Lou Hamer. Dr. King is the most well-known political mobilizer. One thing, and welcome Apollo, because I'm so proud to be here as a native New Yorker. One thing we have to remember is Dr. King was a revolutionary. Dr. King is a revolutionary. He is a revolutionary mobilizer. The political organizers on the grassroots levels were sharecroppers, they were labor unions, they were trade unionists. I come from a family of Haitian immigrants. My mother was part of 1199 Service Workers Union. I was on my first picket line when I was 8 years old. These were the grassroots people who were bleeding for democracy, who transformed this country. But the transformation, like you said, and Christina said it eloquently, it's unfinished, it's incomplete. I said this last year at this time, and I'm gonna say it again. The difference between 1964 and 2014 is that in 1964, black people in the United States of America and globally knew they were being oppressed. In 2014, they don't realize that. So the commemoration, the best thing we can do with this commemoration is understand the struggle. I was at Amiri Baraka's funeral yesterday. Baraka was one of the legendary strugglers, as Leroy Jones and Amiri Baraka, speaking truth to power. The '64 Civil Rights Act was only going to be revolutionary in as much as it tried to transform a country that refused to believe in small d democracy. Democracy is a great idea, but it's not been practiced in the United States of America.
I'll challenge you on your statement a little bit,
Yep.
that democracy is a nice idea, but we haven't had it yet in the United States. Do you want to go that far? Obviously, there's a lot to be desired for it to be the perfect democracy. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do to get to the kind of equality that would, make the United States deserve the title of what it says that it stands for. And as you talk about King, the revolutionary, absolutely, one of the points that we make every year in this Martin Luther King event, and this is the 8th annual, is that King was just not just this nicey nice, let's all live together and love each other kind of guy. He was a radical. He was looking for structural, fundamental change. So in that context, maybe it was possible because we have a functioning democracy and because we have a democracy that needs to be improved but can be worked in.
Well, I'd say in 1964, there was no such thing as American democracy, small d democracy, for millions and millions of African Americans. And in a democracy, there are no second-class citizens. There are no classes of citizens. So in a democracy does not have mass incarceration. A democracy does not have young black children going hungry, black and brown children going hungry. A democracy does not have a bunch of people, millions of people unemployed who want to work, who don't get unemployment benefits or jobs, and are going to be demonized because of that, right?
So are we talking too small? If the public conversation today is living wage, pre-K, paid
Clean
sick
water.
leave, absolutely, climate change,
Yes.
Does it also need to be about the structure of democracy?
No, absolutely. I mean, what Martin Luther King Jr. wanted in '64 goes beyond civil rights. In '62, '63, he's talking about human rights. He's talking about anti-colonialism. King says militarism, materialism, and racism are the triple evils facing humanity, not just in '68, but in 1962. What's interesting for us is that even as we celebrate and commemorate this time, what America does, it congratulates itself on unearned victories. So the end of racism, the end of poverty, the end of oppression. These things are not true. So instead of trying to tackle those things in 2014, we have a better time erecting a King memorial than living up to the ideals that he challenged the nation with.